remember, right from the start, how the Russians called themselves our liberators. Liberators. Liberators.
During World War II, while fighting Nazi Germany, the Hungarian people saw the Soviets as liberators as they expanded into their nation. The Soviets tried to increase communism's popularity by convincing the people communism was the best style of government through propaganda, schooling, and constant Soviet presence.
The communist propaganda machine was churning out information on how Rákosi is going to lead Hungary into a wonderful future. At school we had to learn Russian and join the young pioneers. I didn't know what indoctrination and propaganda meant until my mother told me that not always everything is what it seems to be. Pictures and words can lie. From then on, I listened more carefully for what I was being told.
Following the end of World War II, Soviet nations began to resist communist rule and the presence of Soviet troops in their nations. In 1956, the Hungarian uprisings began after a significant change in Hungarian leadership. Former Prime Minister Emir Nagy was removed from power and replaced by Soviet supporter János Kadar. Nagy declared he would remove Hungary from the Warsaw Pact. The initial reason, the Soviets sent troops into Hungary and replaced him. Emir Nagy's last formal address stated, "Our troops are fighting, the government is in its place."
A Magyar Népköztársaság minisztertanácsának elnöke.
The revolution began small and peaceful, but escalated quickly. Nonviolent protesters filled the streets of Budapest, the Hungarian capital. However, days later, young, motivated students tore down a statue of Stalin in Budapest, acting catalyst for the domino of events that would later occur. One protester recalls, "At first, there were only thousands, but they were joined by young workers, passerbyers, soldiers, old people, secondary school students, and motorists. The vast crowd grew to tens of thousands. The streets resounded with these slogans. People of Kossuth, march forward hand in hand. We want a new leadership. We want Emir Nagy. Long live the People's Army," and so forth. The shouts reverberate, the national colors flutter in the air, windows are open. The streets of Budapest are filled with a new wind of greater freedom.
For 5 frantic days, Budapest is free, and our American cameraman is there to record Hungary's hour of hope and heartbreak. Anti-Russian hatred, smoldering for a decade, erupts without warning. The flames of liberty and revenge against tyranny leap high. A 16-year-old girl risks her life to remove the despised symbol of Russian enslavement. Throughout the city, Soviet war memorials come crashing down. Budapest is in revolt. With uncontrolled fury, crowds set fire to Russian flags and put Soviet books to the torch. The Red Star is sent tumbling into the gutter.
The uprisings quickly spread from Budapest throughout the entire nation. The Hungarian people demanded free elections, free press, and the removal of Soviet troops throughout the nation. They also wished to bring Emir Nagy back to power.
What do you hope will happen now?
We hope that our country will be entirely free and we can work and we can have free connections with West.
During the uprisings, the secretary of the Hungarian Communist Party, Erno Zsero, announced via radio that the publicity regarding the revolution was fake and full of lies. After his broadcast, demonstrators marched on the station. Zsero then ordered the Soviets to send tanks to slow the protesters. 1,000 tanks were sent to Hungary, causing 4,000 deaths. The Soviets also used tear gas to settle the crowds. In the United States, President Eisenhower was hesitant and eventually refused to get involved because he didn't want to jeopardize foreign relations.
The Hungarian fighters waited in vain for Western help.
And the fact that if the West intervened, it ran the high risk of it generating a world war, really meant that we didn't want to see physical uprising. And the policy, at least, was don't also don't create any hopes on the part of the satellite countries that we will intervene.
The revolution lasted 12 days, from October 23, 1956 to November 4, 1956, and became known as the Declaration of Independence from the Soviet Union. By November 7th, the Soviets had complete control of the uprisings and took over the offices of parliament in Hungary. János Kadar, the replacement prime minister during the revolution, supported the Soviets and after suppressing the revolution, began his process of normalization, forcing people to cooperate with the new regime and Communist Party. The Hungarian government and people remained under Communist Soviet rule until the fall of the Soviet Union in 1989.
Good evening. The red flag came down over the Kremlin tonight as President Gorbachev resigned and brought to an end 7 decades of communist rule in the Soviet Union.
Compatriots, due to the situation which has evolved as a result of the formation of the Commonwealth of Independent States, I hereby discontinue my activities at the post of President of the USSR.
Hungary finally gained true independence.
From their hearts and from their flag, the Hungarian people have ripped Russia's hated symbol.
Today, Hungary remains a democratic state consisting of 3 branches of government run by their current prime minister or president, János Áder.